real quick before we get into this video, I have got to give a huge shout out to my little sister again. I showed you guys a couple in one video that awesome picture of Grim she made me from one of my favorite video games, Hollow Knight. Well, she just made me this absolutely awesome clay figure of the Hollow Knight, and I just absolutely love this, and I had to show it to you guys because oh my god, it's so awesome and I love it so much. And apparently she's making me a hornet to go with it, and I can't wait. I absolutely love this. I had to give her a shout out. This is so awesome. My god, I love this so much. The War for Cybertron trilogy is bar none my favorite Transformers toy line of all time, and with good reason. If you collect the War for Cybertron trilogy, if you collect the entire War for Cybertron trilogy, you not only have a near-perfect G1 collection, but also a near-perfect Beast Wars collection as well. And that is just absolutely absurd, the fact that Hasbro has made so many figures that I would honestly consider micro masterpieces, and on the level of masterpieces, even having some that just directly borrow from the masterpieces. This line really is a stroke of genius by Hasbro, and I cannot sing its praises high enough. So we're going to do that today a lot more. So here we go. This is the very first part of the countdowns for the WFC trilogy. This is of course going to be Siege, the first chapter in the War for Cybertron trilogy. We will be going through the top 10 best figures in the Siege War in the War for Cybertron Siege toy line. We will obviously next take a look at Earthrise a little bit down the road. It'll, I'm not going to put these right after each other because I'm going to have like these spaced out perfectly to when I can do the final one when Kingdom wraps up at the end of the year. But yes, we are doing Siege today, and I gotta be honest with you, Siege is my favorite entry in this line so far. I do think Kingdom might be the strongest line overall, but I don't know, this is where most of my favorite figures from the War for Cybertron trilogy are, so yeah, let's get into this. Let's not waste any time. These are the top 10 Siege. These are the top 10 figures from the Transformers Siege line. But real quick, before we get into this, I do need to say a couple more things. This list is somewhat subjective. These are my picks for the top 10 best Siege figures overall. So we are talking. These are the ones that every single War for Cybertron trilogy collector should have in their collection because they are just outstanding figures. But this is somewhat subjective, of course, because I am making it, and I obviously do like some figures more than others, and there are a couple on this list that people might not agree with, but this is my list. But I was basing this off of the ones that I considered the best overall. Another thing is, I don't have every single Siege figure. In particular, I do not have the Siege Optimus Prime mold at all. I also don't have the Siege Datsun mold at all. I don't have who is it? I don't have the Ultra Magnus. I do have the mold, but I don't have the Ultra Magnus because I went the way of the Kingdom one. So yeah, he won't be in this list, spoiler alert. And there's one more that's slipping my mind that I can't remember. Never mind, I think I'm just overthinking it. So, yeah, none of those figures I just mentioned will be on this list, obviously, because I have no experience with them. So, I do apologize for that. I know a lot of people love that Siege Optimus Prime, so I'm sorry if you're a huge fan of that, you were expecting this and you were hoping to see it on the list. So, sorry about that. But one more thing, and then we're going to get into this, I promise. I know this is taking forever. One more thing, though, I have to clarify that this Siege list is based off of every single Siege figure. So, these can be from the toy line, they can be from the Generation Selects version of the toy line, it can also be from the Netflix version. Anything that is associated with Siege is eligible to be on this list. So, I think that is all we have. Let's go. Let's get this started. Coming in at the number 10 is going to be Flywheels. This is one I think some people might not agree with, but I love this figure. I have had so much fun with this damn thing. He is a blast. He really is. He's not absolutely perfect, hence him being number 10 on this list, but I can't recommend him enough in your collection. He's awesome. He's super fun to play with. The fact that he turns into 2 separate alt modes is really, really cool. I like his accessories a lot. You can really do a lot of great things with him. His posability is fantastic. He's got some really great ankle pivot right there. I really like how you can do that head reveal just by like bringing that down. It's just super, super cool. The transformation is super easy and super fun. Yeah, I just really like Flywheels. I know this one probably won't be on a lot of people's list, but he is on mine. I think he's really fun, and I definitely think he is worth having in your WFC collection. So yeah, number 10, Siege Flywheels. Plus, it's a character that I personally like. I have a weird attachment to this character. I don't really know why, but yeah, he is number 10. Coming in at the number 9 spot is another one I think a lot of people would disagree with me on, but this is my list. Ape Face is fucking fantastic. Oh my god. How on earth is this one of the most disliked figures in the WFC trilogy? This figure is fucking amazing. I love this figure. All three of his modes I think are absolutely awesome. His transformation is fun. It is a little clunky, a little fiddly. Some things like to kind of come apart when you're transforming him, but once you get everything together, all of his modes look great. He does have some somewhat loose knees, but they're not horrible. He stands up perfectly fine. His articulation is stellar. He's got really great articulation. I absolutely love this figure. Look at that ankle pivot right there. So good. And my God, the way he looks, his presence is absolutely phenomenal. I love the silhouette of this dude. I really like the head sculpt. I think that is super cool. I'm not 100% against headmasters if they're actually intended as headmasters. Like the thing that Titan Return did where it turned like every character ever into a headmaster. I'm not a fan of that, like Blur and Hot Rod being a headmaster. I'm not a fan of that. But characters like Chrome Dome and Ape Face and Snapdragon, yeah, those can be headmasters. I'm totally cool with it. And I mean, I think he's a micro masterpiece Ape Face. I'm just gonna say, and spoiler alert, I think Snapdragon is a micro masterpiece Snapdragon. I'm not sure if he'll end up on the Earthrise list though. We'll have to see. But yeah, I think Ape Face is awesome. Honestly, I think he's really, really great. The fact that this is one of the more disliked figures of the WFC trilogy is honestly shocking to me. Like, he's so good. I love his little gun he's got on the back. I love his little gun he comes with. It's super, super fun. Great posability out of him, obviously. Just really stellar figure in my opinion. I really think he is absolutely worth being on this list. He is absolutely awesome. So yeah, number 9, probably an unpopular one, but Seige Face. To address the common complaint that most people have with this figure though, the weird soap-like plastic, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I absolutely love it, but I don't mind it whatsoever. It does not ruin this figure in the slightest for me. So yeah, number 9 is Seige Face. I think he is awesome. Coming in at the number 8 spot is the Micromaster Battle Squad. This is an absolute phenomenal set. Oh, one more thing I forgot to say at the beginning of this that I was intended to say is when I do these lists, the repacks, those won't be counting. The figures that I put on this list are the original releases. So like when we do Earthrise, obviously, when we do Kingdom, Earthrise Optimus Prime is not going to be able to be in that. And like Earthrise, like I'm considering Astro Train as Siege figure as well. So I forgot to say that. I'm sorry, I'm just throwing it in right now. But I had to bring that up because these guys were also released in Earthrise, but they were originally released in Siege. But this is number 8, the Battle Squad. These two are just awesome, man. These are two of my favorite Micromasters. Both of them are solid Micromasters. All their joints are really, really great. They're nice and fun to play with. They look absolutely fantastic. The paint apps on these guys are really, really wonderful. I think Direct Hit is a little bit better looking, but Power Punch is also very cool as well. And the transformation is simple and fun, and then the alt mode, when you combine them together to make that one cohesive truck, is really, really, really cool. I think this set is absolutely awesome. And at $10, it's an absolute must-have in my opinion. So yeah, number 8 is the Battle Squad. This is a great set. I love this one. Coming in at the number 7 spot is the Siege Seeker mold, but particularly Red Wing. Red Wing is so awesome. Now, if you're wondering why mine looks like this, go watch my review. I'm not going to get into that right now. You can watch my review on this figure if you're really interested. But, god damn, this mold kicks ass. Like, he's a total shell former, but honestly, aside from Studio Series 86 Scourge, he might be the most fun shell former ever. This dude freaking rules. I love this figure, man. He's got such a presence. All the tolerances are absolutely wonderful. The paint apps are absolutely gorgeous. I love this guy, man. His posability is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, this is an awesome figure. If you don't have the Siege Seeker mold because you got in because you weren't interested in it, I'm telling you, it's worth having at least one. You know, there's tons of different options. Definitely have a version of this mold in your collection because this is a great fucking mold. I absolutely love this. A super fun transformation, an awesome robot mode, an awesome alt mode. Just a really freaking great figure overall. And Red Wing in particular, man, he just pops. The paint apps on Red Wing here really make him something special in my opinion. So yeah, number 7 goes to the Siege Seeker mold, but particularly Red Wing. Number 6. Now, you have to forgive me. This is actually a release from a newer, from a different toy line, but this is the mold overall. The number 6 best figure in Siege is Impactor. This is the best Impactor money can buy. Oh my god, I love this figure so much. I love this guy. He is absolutely fantastic. He is a micro masterpiece impactor in every sense of the word. I am thinking about getting the original release because I think I like the way it looks overall more, and there's also upgrade kits available for it, and I'm just such a sucker for upgrade kits. So yeah, I am thinking about upgrading my impactor to that original one because I like the way he looks more, and this figure is so fucking awesome, man. I can't sing this figure's praises high enough, man. I love everything about this figure. His robot mode is awesome. The posability is outstanding. His accessories are great. He's so fun to mess around with. His transformation is fun. It's smooth. It's intuitive. I absolutely love it. The alt mode is super fun. It's got all the posability you could want. It's got a swivel in the turret and upward and downward movement in the turret as well. This is just an absolutely outstanding figure. Like, I've never really cared much for Impactor as a character, and I did skip this figure for a while, hence why I have the, this is the Earthrise figure, I think, the Netflix Earthrise figure, hence why I have this and not the original release, because I kind of skipped on him, because I didn't really care about Impactor, but my god, I'm so glad I did not miss out on him, because this is an outstanding figure, and yeah, NumberSix, best figure in Siege. He is absolutely awesome. Definitely get him if you don't have him, man. He's so good, dude. Number 5 is Astro Train. This is such an awesome Astro Train, man. I love this figure so much, but he's not perfect. There are things about this figure that do kind of bug me. That's why he's only number 5, but he is absolutely, I have no problem saying that he is the definitive G1 Astro Train. He is absolutely phenomenal. The way he looks is just amazing. He looks like he walked right into the screen. I love this look. This has always been my preferred look for Astro Train. I've always preferred this like gray over the like white and weird like blue and red combination that the original toy had. Yeah, I just absolutely love the way he looks overall. Really captures the character. The transformation is fun and smooth overall. There are parts about the transformation that do kind of fight you, but once you get it, it's pretty okay. The transformation is pretty fun, and both modes I honestly think are pretty good. The shuttle mode definitely has some sacrifices to it, but it's still pretty fun overall. I do like the shuttle mode, and the train mode is absolutely awesome. I love the train mode so very much. So yeah, I think he is extremely cool. Another reason why I have to bring in why he's only number 5 is because he is a Voyager class figure, clearly at a leader class price point. Now, I'm not against this at all. I really am not. But if I'm being honest, out of all of the figures that they've done this with Hasbro, including the Studio Series 86 Hot Rod and the Kingdom Commander class Rodimus and Earthrise Optimus Prime, out of all the figures, this is the one that I feel the most ripped off with. And the reason why is because while he does have amazing engineering, there's also some things about this figure that are really fiddly, like I said. Some things like to fight you during the transformation, which is definitely not something that can be said about Earthrise Optimus Prime. But also his knees are very weak, and I have not been able to fix these with super glue. I've tried multiple times, and I just have not been able to get any fixing with this whatsoever. And he's and he constantly likes to fall backwards, and that's definitely an issue. And the other thing is this thing. The tender is kind of shit. I honestly wish they had just made this guy a Voyager and included this gun right here, because this is the only gun I ever use with this figure, this awesome Gatling gun. This one is so cool. This is the only one I need. All the others, I mean, they're fun enough. I have messed around with them. I have had some fun with them, but they're not really necessary. Like, this is, like I said, this is the one figure in the War for Cybertron trilogy that I really do kind of feel a little ripped off with because of the kind of some of the weaker tolerances. It's really just the knees, but it is kind of annoying. And this thing is just, it doesn't, I don't know, man. Like I said, I have messed with it. I've tried all this stuff. It is kind of fun overall for a couple minutes, but I mean, you are probably just going to play with this the first time you open it, and then it's probably just going to be chussed with your other accessories, and you're probably never going to really play with it again. So, yeah, and also the stupid thing where you just connect it to the back is absolutely retarded. And these little feet pieces right here as well, yeah, this thing just isn't all that cool. It is kind of cool in train mode where you just attach it to the back, but not cool enough to justify that increase in price for me. This gun is all I really needed. You give him that gun, and you basically have a perfect Astro Train. But there's just a little bit of shortcomings. Obviously, number 5 is definitely nothing to scoff at. He is still an absolutely phenomenal figure that I highly recommend getting. But definitely think that number 5 is the good spot for him. So there you go. Number 5 is Astro Train. And honestly, this next one, basically the exact same reasons as Astro Train, I just happen to like this character a lot more, and that is Shockwave, of course. I've never had a great Shockwave. I've had many Shockwaves in my day. I've never really had a great one, and Shockwave is one of my favorite Decepticons. So, when I got this dude, who is basically a perfect encapsulation of the G1 Shockwave design, I was absolutely floored. I love this figure so very much, but again, he's just got issues like Astro Train, but I will say that I definitely do not feel ripped off with this figure. This is the accessory pack he came with, and these are kind of fun, and I do really like the alt mode when all of it's combined together. You make that giant ship. The alt mode is really fun. The transformation's fun too. Some of the stuff the transformation does is actually really cool. I love how this piece like detaches from the back and it swings, and it's like swings around, and you have to like bring the arms up and get that little rod in there, and then it just kind of opens up and it like grabs the arms and wraps them in there. It's just a really fun and unique transformation. This is a really cool one. So yeah, I really like that. Once again, once you get everything connected with all these pieces in the jet mode, it looks really cool in my opinion. But I do actually like the way that he looks when he has all this stuff combined. I don't display him like that because, you know, obviously I'm all for the G1 accuracy, and he obviously never did that in G1, but yeah, I like this pack, and also the fact that you can use it as like a hoverboard is also kind of cool, because I feel like that's something Shockwave would have, is a cool little hoverboard thing. I mean, he's a mad scientist. It definitely seems like something he would have. So yeah, I do actually like this overall with Shockwave, and I do have a lot of fun with it. And I mean, overall, he's just a really great Shockwave. Now, I will say, I hate his legs. I hate his legs. These ratchets, man, these are the most obnoxious ratchets I've ever seen, because you can like, they're never straight. It's like, so this is this way, and he's like leaning back a little bit, but if you bring them forward like this, he's now leaning forward too much. Like, these legs suck. I hate them, man. They're so obnoxious. It's so hard to get him looking proper on the shelf, because he's always like leaning too far back or leaning too far forward, because those legs are just so freaking annoying, and I don't like them at all. But that's pretty much the only complaint I have with this figure. I think he's great, and I mean, just the fact that we have this awesome Shockwave, which I never thought I would ever have this. Like it was, he's one of those characters that just never gets he gets good figures, but they never capture Shockwave all that well, like the G1 design. They never really captured it. Even the Masterpiece one is pretty shoddy in my opinion. That purple is just really off and weird, but he pretty much nails it. I love this Shockwave to no end, but man, those legs, I had to bring that up, because man, those bother the shit out of me, and I don't think I've ever talked about them before. So yeah, aside from that one little issue with the legs, I really, really, really love this Shockwave. I think he is outstanding, but yeah. Number 4, Shockwave. Number 3 is Spinister. Yeah, number 3 is Spinister. This figure is so good. I don't understand why Hasbro put so much love into this absolutely nobody character that like nobody gives a shit about. But this figure is like the best thing that ever happened to Spinister. This figure is outstanding. This is one of my favorite figures of the WFC trilogy. I have zero complaints with this figure. His robot mode is absolutely incredible. Look at the silhouette of this freaking figure. He looks absolutely incredible from every possible angle you look at him. Everything is filled in. There's no hollownesses. There's no hollowness whatsoever. Look at these legs all filled in with these awesome panels and everything. Just his silhouette in robot mode is outstanding. His transformation is one of the most brilliant and fun transformations I have ever done. I do it so often. This is one of those figures where I approach my Transformer shelf looking for someone to fiddle around with, and I grab him like 90% of the time, it feels like, man. I'm always grabbing this figure off the shelf, transforming him back and forth just over and over and over and over again, posing him around, because oh my god, his posability is absolutely unmatched. He has double jointed elbows, incredible leg articulation. You can even move that panel out of the way and get even more leg articulation. And everything just works perfectly with this figure. One thing that I always found with this figure that I brought up in my previous times I talked about this figure is in chopper mode, how you can't get that like back cockpit to plug and paste. Turns out I was doing it wrong. You have to rotate the entire leg around, and now that I figured that out, it plugs in place perfectly every single time. It's no longer an issue. So that took the one issue I have with this figure out of the question. This figure is outstanding, man. I cannot recommend him enough. He was like neck and neck with number 2, man. I cannot recommend him enough. He's so fucking good, dude. Why on earth is Spinister this good? This figure is... He's so good, man. I love this damn thing. Okay. Everybody who watches my videos knows what number 2 and number 1 is. These are two of my favorite Transformer figures of all time. And a lot of you are probably certain that you know which one is number 1 and which one is number 2. Number 2, yeah, he's number 2. This breaks my heart to put this figure at number 2, but if I am being 100% honest with myself, despite this figure being my favorite Transformer figure of all time, and it is, I don't want to get it twisted here. This is my favorite Transformer figure of all time. Number 1 always will be. He's my favorite. But if I'm being honest with myself, the other one is a better figure. It's more fun. I would recommend it higher than this guy. Omega Supreme is not a must-have character in a collection. He's really not. Not many people even really care about Omega Supreme or the Titan class as much. Most people really only care about Unicron. But Omega Supreme is a perfect toy. I cannot stress that enough. I have zero complaints with this figure. I love this figure from top to bottom. He is my favorite Transformer figure of all time. He's incredible. He has everything about this figure. I don't know what else I could say about him. I literally, in my top 10 personal favorite Transformer figures, I talked about this guy for like 7-8 minutes straight. Yeah, I don't know what else there is to be said. He's absolutely perfect from head to toe. Like, his head sculpt is incredible. The way he transforms is just brilliant, and it's so fun to do. How you plug him all together and lock everything together. It just feels so satisfying and awesome. The alt mode is incredibly fun to play with, especially if you got a ton of MicroMasters. You can have so much fun with that damn alt mode. Oh my god, I love the way the back looks with that awesome jetpack piece that just plugs in place so perfectly. Again, so satisfying and wonderful. The posability, oh my goodness gracious. I don't think I even talked about this in my top 10 personal favorite Transformer video. The posability on this guy, it feels like Hasbro took 50 extra hours to make sure that this figure posed beautifully. Listen to these magnificent ratchet joints. These are like the perfect ratchet joints for this figure, because obviously these arms are gigantic, but somehow these, while they're not like massive like this, not like these legs, which are just like super tight, but once again, that is exactly how well they needed to be. But the arms here, they're this super, you can just faintly hear that ratchet. It's just absolutely wonderful. And the arms too, same thing. It doesn't fight you whatsoever. It's such a joy to play with this figure overall. And they even gave him ankle pivot, man. It's just outstanding. I can't sing this figure's praises high enough. Obviously, I wanted to put him at number 1 because he is my favorite, but if I'm being honest, number 1 is 100% Jetfire. Yeah, Jetfire is too good. He's too fucking good. I love everything about this damn figure. He is, I think, my 3rd favorite Transformer figure of all time, if I remember correctly. I cannot tell you how much fun you will have with this damn thing. He is absolutely outstanding. He has like 50 billion gimmicks, all of which are incredibly fun. Him as just a regular robot is absolutely outstanding. He has such great posability. His transformation is incredibly fun, so smooth. He might be the biggest and most fun transformation in the War for Cybertron trilogy, man. It is just a joy how he just compresses up and he just turns into that awesome jet with those, and I really love the little handles that you can flip out and attach your bots to. He's got the openable cockpit. He's got this really cool feature where you can make him a freaking Decepticon if you want to, so you can put him on any display you want. He comes with that awesome fucking accessory pack, which I just absolutely love, and like doubles the playability with this accessory pack with all the cool stuff you give him, like the torso piece, the awesome face mask, all the guns and stuff, the little forearm cannons. The regular gun is so awesome as well, how it splits in two and it can become 2 guns. It's just like, and even like the little subtle engineering tricks that they put into this guy, like that really cool little spring-loaded feature on the backpack for it to like compress up and lock in place in both modes. How the head, when you fold it up, it just has this like little spring-loaded piece back here that just seals it away. And then this awesome little engineering piece that they absolutely did not have to do, but they did anyway, where you can have his open hands and then you push it in and a little port flings out from the front, from like the middle of his wrist. Like, what the actual hell? Hasbro just put so much love into this guy, and it shows so much. This figure is absolutely outstanding. And yeah, as much as I did want to put Omega Supreme at number 1 because he is my favorite, I have to be honest, if you got this figure over Omega Supreme, I think you would probably love it more. I think you would have more fun with it because he is just incredible. I have zero issues with this figure. Yeah, number 1 is Jetfire, hands down. And there you have it. This is part 1 of the War for Cybertron trilogy rankings. That was my top 10 picks for the best figures of the Siege line. Let me know your picks in the comment section down below. Let me know if it's if it really is worth getting that Siege Optimus Prime. Let me know. I do kind of have my eyes on the Netflix Nemesis one, although it's kind of expensive. So let me know if it's worth having. Yeah, because obviously I don't have it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you did. Give me a like, subscribe if you want to see more of my content in the future. And this is DK Guillotine. Signing out.